Black man denied entry to luxury store, returns as owner. Alright, let me take you on a journey, a story that's inspiring, emotional, and honestly, a little wild. This is the true tale of Chimezi, or Mizi, as his friends called him. A black Igbo boy from Africa, with a heart full of dreams and a head full of big plans. Mizi wasn't just anybody, he was that guy. You know, the one everyone in the village looked up to. The one people said, this boy is going to make it big. And boy, were they right. Mizi grew up in Nigeria, in a small, bustling village filled with vibrant energy and hard-working people. From a young age, he was raised to believe in two things, hard work and dignity. His father, a pharmacist with great skills and a wise heart, always told him, Chimezi, no one will give you anything in this life. You take what you deserve. And when they say no, you build your own yes. And Mizi lived by that advice. He hustled day and night, pouring everything he had into his small business ventures. While others slept, he planned. While others gave up, he pushed harder. Eventually, his hard work paid off, and he built a comfortable life for himself. But Mizi wasn't satisfied. He wanted more. He wanted to see the world, experience new opportunities, and prove to himself, and the world, that an Igbo boy from Africa could thrive anywhere. So, he made a decision. He packed his bags, kissed his mama on the forehead, and boarded a plane to Europe. It wasn't just a vacation, it was a mission. Mizi told everyone back home, I'm not going there to play. I'm going to explore opportunities, expand my horizons, and come back home stronger. When he arrived in Europe, everything felt new and exciting. The air smelled different, the streets were wide, the buildings tall, and the people, well, they weren't always friendly. But Mizi didn't let that bother him. He rented a small but cozy condo and got to work, settling in and exploring opportunities in the city. He spent months focused on his goals, keeping his head down and avoiding trouble. But Mizi had one personal dream he couldn't shake, to step into one of those fancy luxury stores, buy something outrageously expensive, and send a picture back home to his friends. You know, as proof. Proof that he'd made it. He'd even pictured the messages he'd get. Mizi, you're living the dream. Odogu, teach us your ways. The thought made him laugh. But for Mizi, it wasn't just about showing off, it was about celebrating how far he'd come. Then came the day. The lucky day. Mizi woke up in his condo with a grin on his face. Today was the day. He'd been saving for this moment. He pulled out his finest outfit, a sharp blazer that fit like it was made for him, sleek slacks, polished leather shoes, and his lucky cap, his signature style. He stood in front of the mirror, adjusting his blazer, and said to himself, Chimezi, you've arrived. After calling a cab, Mizi waited outside with a buzz of excitement. The ride to the city's most famous luxury district felt like forever. He stared out the window, imagining how the store would look, how he'd pose with his shopping bags, how he'd tell his story to his friends back home. He felt on top of the world. Finally, they arrived. Mizi stepped out of the cab and looked up at the grandest store he'd ever seen. The golden doors gleamed in the sunlight, and the window displays were filled with items so elegant, so expensive, they didn't even have price tags. Mizi adjusted his cap, straightened his blazer, and walked up to the entrance. But just as his hand reached for the door, a tall, stone-faced security guard blocked his path. Excuse me, sir, the guard said, his voice cold and dismissive. This store is private. Mizi blinked, confused. Private? I don't understand. I'm here to shop. The guard smirked, scanning Mizi from head to toe like he was some kind of intruder. This store is for certain clientele. We don't let just anyone in. And there it was. The tone, the look, the unspoken words. It wasn't about the store being private. It was about him. His skin, his accent, the fact that he was a black man from Africa standing in a place they thought he didn't belong. Mizi felt his chest tighten. He wanted to argue, to shout, to demand they let him in. But instead, he smiled, a calm, knowing smile. All right, Mizi said, tipping his cap. I'll be back. And he meant it. But not in the way the guard thought. When Mizi got back to his condo, he didn't cry or complain. Instead, he sat down at his desk, opened his laptop, and started plotting. He thought about his father's words, when they close the door on you, don't just knock. Build your own house. Mizi wasn't just going to shop at that store. He was going to own it. For the next 2 years, Mizi went into overdrive. He expanded his businesses back home in Nigeria, made smart investments, and networked like a man on a mission. Every late night, every deal, every small victory, it all led him closer to his goal. His determination burned brighter than ever. Fast forward 2 years. Mizi was back in Europe, standing in front of that same store. But this time, he wasn't wearing a blazer or a lucky cap. He was in a custom-tailored suit, stepping out of a sleek black car. He didn't need to shop anymore. He was there to sign the papers. Inside, the management team was waiting nervously. The same security guard was still at the door, his face pale as he recognized Mizi. The guard stammered, trying to apologize, but Mizi just smiled and said, "Don't worry. I'm not here to shop. I'm here to take over." By the end of that week, Mizi was the proud owner of the entire luxury chain, not just that one store, but all of them. And the first thing he did? He made sure the doors were open to everyone. No more exclusions. No more judgment. His stores became a symbol of inclusivity and opportunity. Mizi's story isn't just about revenge, it's about resilience, about turning pain into power and proving that no matter where you come from, your dreams are valid. So, the next time someone tries to tell you where you can or can't go, remember Mizi. Don't just knock on the door. Own it. Build it. And leave it open for others. Now, what's stopping you? If this story of Mizi's resilience and triumph inspired you, let me know in the comments below. What's your own dream? What's that one goal you're working toward that no one can take away from you? I'd love to hear your thoughts and stories. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might need a little motivation today. And hey, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because there's so much more coming your way. Stories that inspire, empower, and remind you that no dream is too big. Now, remember, just like Mizi, you can turn rejection into opportunity and build something extraordinary. So, what's stopping you? I'll see you in the next one.